What's up, Steve?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Feeling better
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
I was feeling bad
the
last weekend,
yeah.
but I'm uh I'm doing better now, which is good.
Were you bedridden?
I was just
Oh
feeling really
no!
awful, but I think that was just because of like the weather outside. It was snowing
Oh,
and
the snow?
icy over here. Yeah. You play in the snow at all?
Yeah, me and my wife we went outside and we made snowmen. Well, just one snowman, not men. We just made one. But we did make two snow angels,
Mm, awesome.
and we have like this little hill down in our backyard there. And we took like those plastic bins. We took like the box tops off of those, and we tried to go sledding down our little hill. The snow is like way too powdery and like no, the hill not steep enough, I guess, also. So we only went like 2 feet.
Yeah, I think you showed me like a picture of it, and it's like almost like it's like this. You have like no hill.
Yeah.
You're gonna get no speed on that. Oh, cool.
But we had fun out there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was very cold. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
It's been cold all week too. So it's been rough. But yeah, I didn't get to play out in the snow too much. I just kind of stayed inside for the most part. But also like the
hmm
area that we're at just doesn't like it's a lot of concrete and gravel, so not
Yeah,
much.
melts.
Yeah, it's not sticking to the ground. There's a couple areas outside over there where we can go play in it, but it was just wasn't feeling up to it.
Yeah.
So,
Also, my car wasn't starting really well. I mean, it was kind of was, but it was having a lot of trouble.
ugh. Oh, that
Yeah.
sucks.
So, took it to the shop. They were like, "Yeah, you got a bad cell in your battery, so we're just gonna replace the battery." And I was like, "Whew." At least that's
They
all it
you had a
was.
you had a bad cell in your battery, so they
Yeah.
sold you a new battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Alliteration.
Cool. Yeah, my
Yep.
my roommate's been having the same trouble lately, and it has been a struggle with this
Yeah,
car.
you were
It's a
telling me about
gamble
it. It
whether it'll
sounds
start.
sounds a lot worse than what mine was.
Yeah, his was happening for like a while, like pretty much the whole winter actually. But
Yeah.
oh well. What we got to talk about today, Steve?
Well, first off, we got something to talk about that like not a lot of news outlets in the gaming press really want to touch.
Okay.
Um, that might change by the time this is released, but as it stands right now, I can only think of like Kotaku is the only news outlet that has like made an article about it.
Okay.
And that is
What
the
is it?
former Activision Blizzard CEO, Bobby Kotick, is in the Epstein files. Specifically the emails they sent back and forth to each other, and because I guess they were friends for quite a while. I don't, and
Mm-hmm.
they discuss his Epstein's creepy game idea.
Ugh. Yeah, I've seen a
Yeah,
little bit about the creepy game idea and some of the other stuff that they discussed. It's pretty bad. Um,
yeah.
yeah. You know what? It's crazy too because I remember years ago, when they released, um, during the last presidency, they released the Epstein's Black Book, which had the flight logs, who was going to the island, who was coming from the island, who was using his plane, and
hmm
Bobby Kotick was in there a couple of times. Um, and at the time, I was like, oh my god, Bobby Kotick, CEO of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? The same man who said I to his assistant, "I will have you killed if you go to the press about me."
Yeah. All right.
So
So,
yeah.
basically, Bobby Kotick, he was CEO of Activision Blizzard from 1991 when it
Mhm.
was just Activision to 2023. And that's and his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein happened during that time.
Okay.
Um, and it is a friendship. At one point, Jeffrey Epstein does call him his friend. Um, and it dates back from what I could find, that Gmail archive of all of Jeffrey Epstein's emails. online. You can go and you can search people. So I searched him, and the farthest back I could find was in 2004, where apparently he had a thing with Ghislaine Maxwell, which is kind of weird. Um, Ghislaine, so I guess it dates back before 2004 even, but this is the first I could find in the emails.
Hmm.
Because Maxwell, she emails Kotick and she says, "You don't ring, you don't write. Yours heartbroken, Blazank." So I guess she's like emailing him as she's drunk or something at
Okay.
like
Yeah.
4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And
All right.
yeah, so then Bobby, he comes back at 8 a.m. the next day and he says, "Mend it together and bring that sexy body that goes with it out to my town. I'll ring." So
All
just
right.
get a thing.
Okay.
Um, and then in 2008, in an email to Ben Gortezel, I think that's how you say it. I don't know.
I think it's Gortzel, I think.
Gortzel? Okay, that
I
makes more sense. A computer scientist working, he's a computer scientist who work on AI and robotics. He's famous for Sophia the robot, and if you saw a picture of it, you probably would recognize it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I've seen it.
Epstein asked Gordel, Ben.
Gortzel?
Epstein asked Ben if video games can help with his project, and
Mhm.
he calls him. He says, "Oh, can Bobby Kotick? He's a good friend of mine. Can he help out?" And Gordel
All
basically
right.
says, "No, he can't help with my AI stuff."
Yeah.
Um, because he's like, he goes into like some deep dive, and he's like, AI for video games is different than AI for robots, and like whatever.
Sure. Okay.
We're
He's right.
kind of seeing that like merge together now, and it's like not really that different, I guess, nowadays. But back then it was, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Um, so then in 2013, in February 2013, he tries to get a meeting with Bobby Kotick and Elon Musk together at SpaceX. And Jeffrey, he says, Kotick says, "No thanks, I'm like in Long Beach. I'm not gonna come out." And he's like, Epstein says, "I can send you my private jet to Hawthorne Airport." And he's like, "Want to take it to Long Beach?" And he's like, "Thanks, but I'd rather see you taking girls after to Bel Air." So that was
Hmm.
Epstein doing his thing, his
Yeah.
gross thing.
His iconic thing.
Okay, so then this is the email that like I see a lot of people talk about online,
Yeah.
and they're talking about microtransactions. And the email goes, Bobby Kotick emails. He says, "X Prize is a good idea, but key is real world rewards. Learn to read, earn phone minutes, iPhone credits, virtual items in games." And then the email after that says, "I'm all for indoctrinating kids into an economy." And people they just take that and they run with it. They're like, Epstein is behind microtransactions.
Yeah, that was the big headline I've been seeing around
Yeah.
everywhere is that it was all him.
Yeah. But people are reading this wrong because Epstein doesn't even say, "I'm all for indoctrinating kids into economy." That's this guy, Pablos Holman, who is where's my notes? He's a hacker turned inventor who was working on cryptocurrency in the 90s. And so
Okay.
he says he's the one that says that, not so maybe he's like, "I'm all for indoctrinating kids into the cryptocurrency." I don't know what what he was thinking, but
Yeah,
an
this is like a
earlier
separate thing here. What
yeah,
I'm seeing.
there's an earlier email that Bobby Kotick is responding to, and this is in 2013. Epstein gets, I don't know, some wild hair up his ass, and he's like, "I'm gonna email Bobby Kotick, my good friend in video games, and ask him about my video game idea." And so he says, "Critique? I'm meeting with Joe Klein on Monday. Any edutainment games that you like already out there? Play Call of Duty or Medal of Honor, and you will learn war history. Here's what I've been thinking. Video games are already great at teaching. If they don't assess your level and put you in an appropriate challenge right in front of your, it's filled with inaccuracies and misspellings, the
Okay.
game fails. Challenge too hard and you get frustrated and quit playing. Too easy and the game is no fun. That's exactly what any good teacher or tutor would do. Fundamentally, the thing that works with you is one-on-one to student ratio. Even if you have a shitty teacher or tutor, you will learn a lot because that person gets computers to replace teachers or at least augment them. So his idea is to like take games and gamify them into like helping you teach. But
Okay.
he's emailing Bobby Kotick, like one of the biggest CEOs for gaming, and he's like breaking down like the most basic surface level thing you probably learned in like video games 101 in college or whatever.
Sure. You're breaking
You
down
know?
the player game relationship, it's
Yeah, and
it's
he's
the
like,
most
oh, let me
basic
set the
thing.
scene for this for Bobby Kotick.
You may have
It's
never
like,
heard of this. Hold on.
it's like, what
Let
is
me
this guy
knock your
such a
socks off.
losing?
All right,
All right,
keep
so
going.
then he goes into his idea, and he says, imagine you were looking at a door in a video game. It has some squiggly symbols printed on it. Little munchkins walk up to that door and say, Konnichiwa. The door opens, and you are greeted with a hot princess with big tits and a thong. The door closes in your face. You are going to fucking learn to read and pronounce kanji. Unleash that on fifth grade boys, and the next thing you know, you'll have entire generations of bilingual kids speaking Japanese behind the backs of the parents and teachers. So that's where Jeffrey Epstein's mind is to like show kids porn, to
He wants to show
teach them.
like fifth graders porn as an incentive to get them to learn. I don't think that's how it works. That's
No,
also awful, by the way,
no,
that he's wanting to expose children to that.
yeah.
What the heck?
And then immediately after this paragraph, in the same email, he seemingly contradicts himself by saying edutainment is for pussies. It doesn't work. Once kids catch on that you're trying to teach them something, they shut down. We have to keep the boobs and guns for profit. But you see how much money video games is making these days? Fuck educational reform. We need educational subversion.
What a creepy thing to say.
And not only that, but this guy is like meeting with like world leaders and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
he's like influencing them. Like, yeah, we don't need reform. We just need to like show them tits and ass in video games.
Jesus Christ, man. This is awful.
Yeah. So then that's what prompts Bobby Kotick to respond. And Bobby Kotick says, X game is a good idea, but key is real world rewards. Learn to
X
read
prize.
could mean earn cell phone minutes, iPhone credits, virtual items in games. So Bobby Kotick,
Okay, so yeah.
he's not about showing the TNA to the kids. He's like, no, give them some virtual items in games.
Hmm,
um,
okay.
and then Epstein forwards this to his other guy, Pablos Holman, and Pablos Holman says, "I'm all for indoctrinating kids into an economy." He's the guy that like invented cryptocurrency, I guess. And then he like kind of mocks Bobby Kotick's idea, and he says, "You gotta love how his example of real world rewards is virtual items in games." Which I mean, he kind
Hmm.
of has a point there.
Yeah. But also he's all for indoctrinating kids into an economy. Like what an what an
Yeah,
awful thing to be talking about and
yeah. These are just the most
engaging in.
awful people hanging out with each other and talking about this. But to Bobby Kotick's credit, he didn't want to show porn to kids to like brainwash them.
That we know of. He doesn't actively respond to it in this email, but
Yeah,
also we don't really know how he feels about that in total.
yeah.
All we know from this
Bobby
is
Kotick's
that
mind is more about how can I make money,
yeah,
not
yeah,
how
yeah.
can I indoctrinate kids, which is what
Is that
Epstein wanted to do.
that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to indoctrinate kids, not with economy, but with uh, some kind of sexual thing way before that they are ready and available for that. It is so messed up.
Hmm.
It is the worst thing. This whole thing makes me so
Yeah,
upset. All of the Epstein files and everything that's been released. I don't know if you've gone through any of it, but it is some of the most heinous things that could ever have existed in human history.
yeah. It's absolutely wild that like he was, or I don't know who was like, "Oh, yeah, let me tell everybody about this, and and then it's just like the
Yeah. Well, part of it too was I think QAnon was like, it kind of all originated from him. Like it was all like a thing to discredit when these files actually came out. Like they were trying to lay
yeah.
blame
So
onto
he was like,
other
I guess
people.
he knew that like this stuff was gonna come out, is what you're saying. So like he
Yeah.
got ahead of it. And it's crazy how far ahead of it he was.
Yeah. He was thinking very far ahead because honestly, if you're in this type of position, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
But it's when you've got the resources to do that also and the connections to be able to do it.
yeah. But this email exchange, it actually proves the opposite of what people are saying that it proves.
Okay.
You know, that people are saying that Epstein had a hand in inventing microtransactions, but that's false. The email exchange happened in 2013, and microtransactions, they were already a thing.
Yes. They've been a
So
thing for like well over, I want to say like a couple of years at that point.
yeah, like you could go back as far as like arcades, I guess. Like quarters in in machines is like a microtransaction, is if you want to define it like that. But like more modernly, like horse
Yeah.
armor DLC
Yeah.
in like
Bethesda's
2006.
really to blame there. And then, mobile games at the time, were just starting to pick up and people would buy they would get the free version for whatever app they were playing and then it would have ads and then people would buy
Hmm.
the premium version and then that like just escalated into okay, well, we're going to just make you pay for more of the game over time, essentially, like
Yeah.
Candy Crush and all of those.
Hmm.
It's
Yep.
awful.
And
But
then
you know what,
EA brought it
it's
to The Sims 2,
yes,
with their online store there.
a lot of stuff and there's a lot of DLC in all the Sims games. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's kind of crazy that people are talking about the wrong point here from these emails, which is not that Jeffrey Epstein wanted kids to, be engaged in an economy. He wanted them to be engaged in something far worse.
Exactly.
Like, why are we not laying the blame here? And also, why are we not, calling out Pablos Holman for saying this, right? Like we
Yeah, the
have
inventor of
evidence here.
cryptocurrency is saying he wants to indoctrinate kids into an economy.
It's
His
so
his his own economy that he wants to invent.
cryptocurrency in a way is kind of tied up in really dirty money,
Hmm.
like even just at the base level before any of the you know shady stuff that's going on now, just at its base level, he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah,
It's awful, man. It's also just crazy how far his reach goes into so many things in our world right now.
yeah. Did you see that he had a Fortnite account?
Yeah. uh
Because he was a big
he
Fortnite
was
player.
active, I think. He was active until what was it, like not long before he died, I think. He died.
Hmm. Why'd you put quotes around that?
Well, here's the deal, is there's kind of a conspiracy that is mostly conjecture from some documents I've seen around, um that kind of suggests that he didn't die and he was actually extradited out of the prison when the cameras went away. They had a substitute body, um and he's now over, people are saying, in Israel or somewhere over in the Mediterranean. We're not entirely sure. Um,
Maybe he's just chilling on his island.
Maybe, who knows? He probably could be. I don't know if there's any investigation happening into what happened there uh, right now, or like active like detective work. But anyways, so his Fortnite account apparently came active in 2024. I believe it's
Hmm.
2024. Uh,
Oh,
so he's playing Fortnite again.
who's using
Couldn't
Jeffrey Epstein's Fortnite account?
Well, the documents weren't out at that time, and Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. So it had either had to be somebody who knew his information and logged in, or he couldn't just get rid of all the skins he bought over the years. It's the sunk cost fallacy, man.
He's just bored over there. He's like, I can't play Xbox. They already banned me. Let me get on Fortnite.
Can't play Xbox. I can't play Fortnite. Well, I guess I can. Ugh, yeah, it's awful. And I'm hoping that we get some accountability and for all the people that are actually in these files. But
Yeah, it won't happen from America. I do know that like the UK and like I want to say Latvia or Lithuania or somewhere, some other European, a couple other European countries are doing their own independent investigations into it. Um,
yeah,
so I guess we'll see how that goes.
yeah, I've been seeing some what like bankers and like powerful people overseas who were, I guess, listed in these emails. They've been stepping down from positions, but no
Hmm.
one in America. No one in
Yep.
America.
And I did search other CEOs for gaming companies, like in the Gmail. I did
Yeah.
type in like Gabe Newell and Tim Sweeney,
Tim
John
Sweeney wasn't in the
Romero.
files.
No, no one else was in the files, just Bobby Kotick.
Well, uh, at least nobody else that we can think of is on there. That's at least good. Uh,
Yeah,
the I'm just hoping that everybody who was there can face some kind of justice, hopefully in the future. That's all
it's
we
gonna be
can
a
ask
long,
for.
hard road.
That's right. All we can do is support the victims and hopefully do what we can, I guess. But,
Hmm.
all right, well, that's a real
Well,
bummer topic. What else we got to talk about?
well, it's not gonna get much brighter because uh,
Oh,
Valve in the EU, or not the EU, the UK. Getting my U's mixed up.
yeah.
Valve in the UK is being sued because it's too dominant of a gaming platform. And so I kind of went down a little rabbit hole well to research this.
Okay.
So the Valve Corporation will face a 656 million pound lawsuit, which is roughly equivalent to 900 million US dollars,
It's a lot.
in the UK, alleging unfair prices on its global online store. That's how this has been framed, which is
Okay.
a weird frame to me. It kind of sounds like a little red flaggish because the company, not company, the law firm that is doing this is basically doing UK's version of a class action lawsuit, and they're claiming to represent 14 million gamers in the UK.
Okay.
So they say the gaming giant is being accused of abusing its market dominance by imposing restrictive terms on game publishers and locking players into using Steam.
Well, how so? How would they be locking players into Steam when, most of their purchases are just people want to use the platform?
Well, they're alleging Valve forces game publishers to sign up to conditions which prevent them from selling their titles earlier or for less on rival platforms.
Interesting.
It claims Valve requires users to buy all additional content, read DLC, through Steam if they bought the initial game through that platform. And that essentially locks players into making purchases there.
I mean, is that not the same for every digital platform? You buy the game on the platform, you have to buy through their platform also,
Right.
just because their DRM is tied up into that, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
how is that
that
any
is the
different?
same everywhere.
No.
But I'll get into that a little bit later, but Valve isn't the only one that's being sued
Oh,
for stuff like that. Um,
I guess that
so
makes
we'll
sense.
we'll go into this. We'll continue with the Valve suit right now. But so they also allege that the commission that Valve charges 30%, too much, too
Okay.
much for purchasing PC games.
Sure.
And
Okay.
they claim that if you cut that in half, like 15% or something, whatever is in line with like Epic or whoever,
Mhm.
um, that that would mean savings for the consumer. And
Okay.
I mean, I don't really see that, because it's
Yeah.
like, you got Activision, Blizzard, you got EA,
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft,
Yeah.
and I can lower their prices. They don't charge $70 because of Steam is charging them 30%,
No. It's to make more money to offset the
Yeah,
development
yeah.
costs.
Maybe at the fringes, at like the indie game scale, they might lower their game a little bit, but
Mhm.
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, this isn't going to lower game prices ultimately.
Yeah.
While um, corporations are going to be pocketing this money, small publishers and indie developers are just going to use this to help fund their next title or fund their livelihood because it is their livelihood ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with this where we're getting a little bit more money to uh the smaller publishers and independent things, but like these savings are not going to be passed on to the consumer in any way, shape, or form. Games are still going to be $80. Games are still going to be $70. There's not that is not going to change, even if every commission rate of every store dropped to 15 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It will still stay at that price because that is offsetting the development cost, quote
Yeah.
unquote.
So, Valve is also being accused of uh not allowing other stores to discount games without also discounting that game on Steam.
Mhm.
So if like you have your game priced at full price on Steam, but like you want to go over to Epic Game Store and put a little sale on it, Valve is like, no, you have to put the sale on our store as well.
Okay. Yeah, that does seem that's sketch.
Yeah. Because like, if you went over to Target, Target has their own sales, but like you go to like GameStop and they're like, no, because you got a sale going at Target, you have to put your sale here at GameStop.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. And so they are also being sued in the US for that as well. I don't know how far that suit has gone,
hmm
but that is a thing that's happening.
I do hope that goes somewhere because ultimately, like, um, if you are able to actually have like multiple prices on different stores, then ultimately that drives competition towards
Hmm.
different platforms. Okay, the sale over here is better than the sale over here. You're actively checking between multiple stores, and that is encouraging competition amongst these platforms.
Jamie, be careful there. You might gonna anger the people over at PC Master Race over their Steam fandom.
My bad. I mean, I'm just speaking the truth here. You want competition so that your sales on Steam will be better.
Let me think about that.
How about
Okay.
that?
Okay, so there has been recent precedent. This goes to the other lawsuits because Valve isn't alone in being sued about this.
Oh, interesting.
Apple and Google, they have both been sued for in a similar mass case over in Britain. Um, Apple has been for their commissions up to 30%. So Apple has to pay 1.3 billion dollars in damages,
Jeez.
and they try to like appeal that ruling, but they were like, no, you can't appeal that. So there is precedent over in the UK for this, and which could impact this Valve case.
So they're trying to bring down the commission prices across the board, like for any digital platform. Is that what I'm seeing here?
Right. I mean, it's not this one law firm. This law firm is part of a. There's a bunch of law firms suing different companies like this, like Apple and Google. Like the one for Google and the one for Apple, different law firms are suing each one. The one
Gotcha.
for Valve is being sued by a different law firm as well. But now that there's precedent that Apple has to pay out 1.3 billion in damages to lower, and they have to lower their commission rate to developers and to sell the games or whatever, it
Yeah,
could impact Valve's case, and they might
that
have to
makes
lower
sense.
their commission rate as well.
Wow.
Um,
Well,
the one for Google is for $1.1 billion dollars.
it's a lot of money.
Um, Sony is being sued in the EU. And do you want to guess how much they're being sued for?
Well, I'm kind of looking directly at it.
Oh.
They're being sued for $7.9 billion. Oof,
Yeah. And that's from
that's a lot of money.
2013. I haven't heard any movement on these lawsuits. The Apple one is the only one that I've seen that has been concluded.
Oh,
Yeah.
it says 2023 here actually, not 2013.
Oh, whoops. I misspoke.
Sorry.
No, that's
Other
good.
three.
Yeah. If you look at the okay, so if you look at the other game platform commissions, 30% has kind of been the
Mhm.
standard across everybody. So like Google, Apple,
Yeah.
PlayStation, Valve, GOG, they all charge 30%. Humble Bundle was like 15 to 30. I guess they have some different things that go on that might get less or more depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Microsoft and Xbox, they now charge 12%. And Epic has an interesting one where for the first $1 million in sales per year, they'll charge you $0, but
Oh, interesting.
they'll charge you 12% after that.
12% still not that bad.
Yeah. So let's break it down. Let's go through each one of these and let's see if we think Valve is in the right or wrong.
All right. Lay it on me. I'll tell you
Okay,
right now.
let me pull it up.
Honestly, I think it's kind of cool that the EU is trying to take some of these prices down, even though this probably isn't going to change anything on these platforms for the most part as far as pricing. It's
Yeah.
admirable that they are attempting to drive some of these prices down in a way.
Okay,
Respect that.
so there's like four different claims in this lawsuit.
Okay.
Um, Valve doesn't allow you to sell your game cheaper anywhere else, and the game must be listed on Steam for equal value as anywhere else.
Yeah, that's Valve is in the wrong in that. Like, you should be able to have a sale at a completely different price somewhere else. It's
Hmm.
kind of anti-consumer to ultimately have a lower price over there and not over here. I, Realistically, you want your games to be selling everywhere, and having different stores with different prices and different sales can help. I think the base price should be the same, but sale prices are the one things that should be able to be different amongst platforms.
Yeah, like that's what drives competition and
Absolutely.
throughout the market, and that's what helps keep a healthy economy, if you want to be, philosophical.
It helps the consumer out in the long run to just have
Yeah, it does
more
help you.
sale choices.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So, Valve doesn't allow you to sell DLC to other storefronts on other
Valve doesn't.
storefronts
Oh, okay.
without also
Wait.
being sold on Steam.
So Valve doesn't allow you to sell DLC on other platforms. You have to also list your DLC on Steam. That makes sense. I
Right.
get that. You know,
Right.
if you're gonna list your game, come on, you have to list everything that's with it. Also, I get that. No, that's just a good.
Yeah. Because it'd be weird to be like, let me buy my game on Steam and then go over to Epic and be like, yeah, let me get the DLC here. I
Doesn't
mean,
work like that.
but
No
their
platform works like that.
launchers, like you'd have to like, I don't know.
It would be incredibly cool if you could just buy a DLC over here and a game over here to make everything
Yeah.
work in tandem, but the infrastructure isn't set up like that right now, and it would require every single digital storefront to work hand in hand to make that
Yeah.
happen. That's
It
not
would
Steam
kind of have to
specific.
be more like GOG, in which
Yeah,
you don't need a launcher.
you're just launching the game directly.
Right. So then, like, you would buy your game and then you just install it directly on a computer without the launcher. And
I
then you would
agree.
buy the DLC and, like, somehow that would, I don't know how DLC works.
Well, usually these games they have a form of DRM tied up in them on whatever storefront you buy them on.
Hmm.
And Steam is one of those. Obviously, when you're buying a thing on Steam, you're buying the DLC on Steam, and they're tied up to your account on that. So I get why the EU is trying to do away with that, but realistically, that is not a Steam specific thing. That is just digital platforms. Period. Right now, in the
Yeah.
landscape that they're in, GOG is the only one right now that is, you're buying also your DLC DRM free, and until that goes away, that it's just not going to go away. Period. So I don't think Valve's really in the wrong for that specifically. I think every
Yeah,
other company's doing the same thing.
yeah. Everyone is doing the same thing. They're all want you in their walled garden.
Yeah.
And
Stay
I
in our
mean, it would be
ecosystem.
except GOG, honestly.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't. But because GOG is the only one that does it like that, then also you're kind of just stuck in GOG's default walled garden, even though they're like, we're not making it walled, but because everyone else is walled. It's like if
Yeah.
everyone if you don't have a fence, but everyone else around you has a fence, you now have a fence.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of living in their walled garden, ironically.
Yeah. And then the last one is that Valve's 30% cut on sales, which is pretty much the standard
Yeah.
across the board, but they're saying it's too high.
Well, I I do agree that it may be too high for certain publishers and small indie developers. Um, but if everybody else, if every other storefront is having it at 30%, even retailers have it at that price rate, then I don't see anything wrong with it. But clearly they are trying to lower those all across the board. So hopefully that actually ends up working, and if they get PlayStation, Valve, and all the like to drop their commission rate. But until that happens, I don't think Valve is specifically in the wrong in that way.
Yeah, but why would you hope that? Like we wouldn't really see any benefit from that as consumers, as customers.
I think because it's not really gonna affect Valve too much. They make infinite money from like CS and Dota and Team Fortress and the various games they have on sale all the time. I don't think they're gonna be hurting off of that for the most part. Um, but that will help out independents and small publishers more than it will help the corporations. I think they'll be
Mm,
fine regardless, but smaller studios will do better.
I see. I see. Jamie, I think um Valve, they're not always in the right.
Yeah,
And I honestly I went into this wanting to defend Valve and be like, this is kind of BS, they're kind of being unfairly targeted. But like
yeah,
the more I read about it, the more I found out about these other lawsuits, and they're kind of not
yeah.
unfairly targeted.
I think Valve is usually the apologist for people to go and defend, gung ho defend them, just on the
Hmm.
fact that they are the best platform and they do genuinely care about, the consumer and the gamer. But there are some caveats with that, obviously, like we've been looking at
Yeah.
today.
I mean, at the end of the day, they are still a business looking to make a profit,
Yep.
and they are going to exploit every opportunity they can to do that.
It seems like they're just less overtly evil about it, maybe.
Yeah. And they have like a lot of goodwill that I don't know, I don't know how they survived it. They just have a lot of goodwill.
Yeah. Okay, I think they're not exploiting the customers directly. It's really in
Mm,
like a almost like a um what's it called? In a very like invisible way, I guess is what I want to say, where most people wouldn't even know, you can't get your DLC from here. People just assume you
right.
just can't get your DLC anywhere else except for the platform you buy it on.
Yeah.
Or, people wouldn't even think about, oh, yeah, Valve's price is also the same as this other price. They're both on sale for the same amount. So what's up with that? I guess I should just buy wherever I have my games ultimately.
Right.
It wouldn't People wouldn't think about that ultimately
Right.
until it's come out.
And that's how Valve is using its market dominance to,
Yeah.
you know, make you stay on their platform ultimately. And it's like,
Realistically, Valve should be just staying the course as far as they're the best service on the market. That's the why people want to stay in their ecosystem, period.
yeah.
Until Epic Game Store can be a good storefront, like I then it doesn't
Well, this is
matter.
a little off topic, but like, what's wrong with Epic? Like, I don't really use the service because I have so much on Steam. But like, Epic is giving like free games out the wazoo.
Yeah.
They're being better to game companies. by charging less on commissions. Like they have the best commission deal in the
Mm.
industry.
There's really bad social features. I mean, it's very minute social features as far as like what you can do on the platform. You can't really like message people. You
Who
they
uses Valve's Messenger? Steam
dude,
Messenger.
people the idea that you can just click and join somebody's game instantly via a Steam notification is it does wonders.
Oh, you can't do that on Epic?
No. See, you just assumed.
Oh,
It's so
yeah,
ingrained into you.
yeah.
You're Steam brained, man.
Oh,
That is a luxury that Steam affords people,
yeah.
which is
Steam does.
very
They also
nice.
do. They also have like the workplace. What is it?
The workshop, yeah.
Workshop for mods. I don't
Mhm.
think Epic has a mod thing.
No, they don't.
So,
Steam has a lot of very nice features. Community, uh, how you're organizing your
yeah.
library, the store itself, and its thousands of tags that you can do. There are a lot of nice things on Steam, and until that, like Epic, like steps up and creates a good platform for people to buy, a good ecosystem for people to buy and play their games on and communicate with people, like
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be that.
Mm.
But to be honest with you, it took years for the Epic Game Store to even get a shopping cart. So
That
let's,
sounds like a basic store. Every store has.
yeah, right. I remember a Jesse Cox video from years ago where he was talking about there was a big sale on Epic and he bought a bunch of games on there, but you could only buy them one at a time. So you had to buy it, put in your card
Mm.
info, buy it, put your card info, and you do that over and over again. And then his bank flagged it and they froze his card. I was like,
You're
oh,
buying too
okay.
much.
Well, they thought it was fraudulent activity. So,
Yeah.
so until they,
$60, $60, $60, $60.
yeah,
Oh yeah, that does look suspicious.
yeah, something's up with that.
Yeah.
Until they can step it up, people won't swap from Steam. So,
Yeah.
all right, what else we got?
Um, did you hear about Dispatch? That game.
I've, I've watched a playthrough of it.
Oh,
I know a bunch of people I know have played it.
yeah.
What's up with it?
So, it recently was released on the Switch and Nintendo,
Oh,
but it was censored.
oh, how?
Dun dun dun.
Brr, brr, brr. Well, how is it censored?
Big Brother's coming down. Big Brother Nintendo. They come down and they censor your game.
Say the first time.
Yeah. So Dispatch, if you buy it on any other platform, they do have a censorship toggle, and they have one for like nudity and sex stuff, and they have one for
Okay.
cursing. The one for Switch specifically, is missing, and that's because the nudity censorship has been turned on permanently. You can
Oh,
still
that's lame.
toggle the words, the cursing, but not the nudity.
Why would they like turn that on by default? That's such a weird thing for them to be doing.
Well, according to Ad Hoc, they said it's because of Nintendo's policies. Quote, different platforms have different content criteria, and submissions are evaluated individually. We worked with Nintendo to ensure the content within the title met the criteria to release on their platforms, but the core narrative and gameplay experience remains identical to the original release.
Okay. I mean,
So
yeah, sure.
what you get with the censored version is you get giant black bars across the screen. Anytime they show a little
Gotcha.
bit of peen or a little nip, they're gonna put a black bar there. Um, and there is a sex scene that was like full of moans, and now it's just music and ambiance.
Gotcha.
So I
Wow.
mean,
Is that not a cut scene, right?
yeah,
Essentially.
right.
They just cut it
Yeah,
completely for the most
yeah.
part. That's kind of crazy that they like just completely censored. There's no option for censorship. Like, is there anything in like Nintendo's like policy for uploading games onto their platform to like force this?
That's the thing. It doesn't seem like it because like Cyberpunk, Witcher 3, like the dump load trucks of hentai games.
Yeah,
They're all on there.
it's
So
so
it's a
weird.
little confusing of like why ad hoc had to do this, but not these games. Um, but there was a user on Reddit by the name of Razor Beams with Z's. And he speculated it's because of Japan's rating board policies. Um, and
Hmm.
so games over in Japan can't show nudity, um, but in the West they can. And like a lot of companies like CD Projekt, um, and whatever else, they just upload two different versions.
Yeah,
So Japan gets a version that's like maybe has like some pixelization that bro.
pixelization.
But everyone else in the West they get the full frontal.
I mean, didn't this game release on PlayStation as well? I mean, doesn't the PlayStation shouldn't that version have two releases as well? I mean, that's what it seems like, right?
I think nobody's complaining about the PlayStation version.
I guess no one's talking about the PlayStation version because
Yeah.
it has
So
all of the stuff in it. It has the same, you can turn on and off the censorship, all the same,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that is so strange considering the fact that like PlayStation years ago updated their terms of service on their platform so that people were censoring the games that were released on PlayStation for that. I remember some certain games were having their any sexual materials or anything that was alluding to sexual materials would be slightly toned down for the PlayStation release.
Hmm.
So weird that this game didn't, but it's doing it on the Switch version. But not, I, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's just strange across
I
the
mean,
board.
Nintendo after Ad Hoc released their statement, Nintendo kind of released their own statement and they were like, we don't tell game companies what how to censor their games or whatever, basically. And
Hmm.
then Ad Hoc they kind of fired back and was like, yeah, you kind of do. So
Interesting.
there was kind of like a little bit back and forth. I do kind of like side with Ad Hoc, I think, because Nintendo does kind of have like a history of censoring games. Like, you
Yeah.
think back to like Mortal Kombat for the SNES. The blood, they were like, you can't show the blood, so they replaced it with sweat. That's kind of
Yeah.
like a little bit of a different era, and like that whole situation led to like the creation of the ESRB.
But
Um,
that's like a very old case circumstance. Clearly, modern
yeah,
Nintendo is okay with having mature rated games on their platform. They encourage it
right,
even. So
right.
why would this game be censored in particular? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, so my speculation is that um it's because it looks like okay, well I got two things here.
Okay,
First of all, is that we see Nintendo, they don't go after everybody that like breaks Nintendo's rules.
sure.
Or like they don't do a lawsuit for everybody that like makes a little mod or whatever. You got to
Okay.
reach a certain amount of renown for Nintendo to
Mm,
go after you. That's why there's like so many different like mods for Pokemon or whatever, but like Pal World comes around and it has like a certain amount of renown and Nintendo finds a way to sue them. But so I feel like Dispatch, because it looks like a kids game. Well, I don't maybe not like a kids game, but it looks animated, right?
it's
It's
cartoony, right?
it's cartoony. It
Hmm.
looks anime-ish, and it
Yeah.
has a certain amount of renown that like a lot of people are gonna like search it out. And then it was like, we're the family-focused console here. You need to have the censored version.
Mm, okay. See, I
Uh,
can
They
understand
may
them
not have said
though.
that directly, but probably definitely heavily implied it.
I think they flexed it, right? They flexed a little bit and were like, well, we're a family friendly console, and like, like does like one of
Hmm.
these, like like a glare,
Yeah.
it's like if you catch my drift, so you
Yeah, if
have
you
to
want
make
us
sure it's
to
centered.
promote your game on the game store, to
Yeah,
only put one version, you know?
it would have been smarter, I think, for them to just have left the censored, leave the censorship thing in, but maybe turn it on by default, even just so that you have
Yeah,
the option. You have to seek it out, maybe. I think that would just make more sense. Um, but weird
I
that
don't
they
know. We
just
don't know
even
the
did this.
backroom deals and the conversations that happen there, but yeah,
Clearly, there's some strife between Ad Hoc and Nintendo here,
yeah.
from some policy guideline thing, and somebody's wrong. I'm
We
hope
just can't see it.
I, I'm just hoping it's Nintendo.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't want to blame like a little small indie company.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're just trying to make their cool game.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they uncensor it sometime in the future, but that remains to
Yeah,
be
it probably
seen.
won't be uncensored. Just buy it off of any other store.
Oh yeah, just buy any other version, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I think we hit everything we want to talk about today.
Did we?
I think we did.
Wow.
Good job.
Everybody, if you're listening to this, hit that like button.
And if you're watching it, subscribe and comment. Comment down below.
And share our videos.
Yeah, we want to keep
Help us reach
discussion
100
going.
subscribers.
Yeah, we
That's
want to
our
reach
goal.
100. What is that like? Our year end goal?
Yeah,
Awesome. I think we can do it. I think we can
I
do
think
it.
we can do it.
Um, but yeah, if you let's keep discussion going. So comment down below and then share it with somebody else who you think might be interested in what we talked about.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you like
Gonna be.
games? I like games. You like games? Your
I
friends
like
like
games.
games? Let them know. They like talking about games.
We like games. We like games too. We love talking about them.